It is now time to create your very first community post. You now have a library of post outlines. All you need to do is to pick one of the 3 communities that you've narrowed down your search to. This is going to be the one that you're going to share today. Because I'm cognizant of the fact that not all communities are going to accept you at a time, to give us the highest likelihood of having all 3 accepted, we're going to post one today, one tomorrow, and then another one on the 3rd day, meaning that you'll end up with, I believe, 5 days since you initially submitted the application to when you're going to be posting in the 3rd community. As mentioned, this post should be focused on providing value to the community and establishing both your reputation and your willingness to help. We're going to use the post outline that we created earlier to find a common problem faced by the community, and then ideate a simple automation that you think could solve that problem. I know it's easier said than done, but remember that your flow doesn't actually have to be extremely complex. Most of the people in the community don't actually know anything about automation, so even the simple ones are going to look impressive. And at the same time, the simpler a flow is, the more accessible your flow is going to look, and the more obvious the value will be as well. Now, you can present the automation however you like. My personal recommendation is taking a screenshot, and then eventually you can add a Loom video as a top-level comment to the ones that get a lot more engagement. This is an example post that is literally from my other community, one called MakeMoneyWithMake.com. This is one of the members. His name is Keith, and he's basically doing exactly what I'm recommending here, just for other communities. He got a ton of engagement. Keith has had some business. Essentially, this is the exact same, like verbatim sort of approach that I would give. Now, obviously, he has a different template from the templates that I provided you in the post calendar template. But here's what he said: "Hey, money makers. We refer to ourselves as money makers in the community." So he clearly understands the tone of voice, the phrasing, and that sort of thing. If you're using Nick Scenario in the automated proposal generator, and if you also are using Fireflies to capture the meeting notes, this is the workflow you need. I was following Nick's template, but I didn't use Typeform, but Airtable instead. So this workflow will send your meeting notes from the webhook you define in Fireflies to the Use Claude module to read the meeting notes and then fill in the form for you. Now you can book back-to-back meetings without 30-minute break and close even more deals. Have a great week ahead. Keith, the madman, goes even further, and he actually provides a screenshot of the whole flow as well as a link to the blueprint. This is the sort of mindless, insane value that you need to be providing to people. You need them to just look at this and be like, what the hell is Keith getting out of this? This is similar to the vibe that I gave people when I started posting on YouTube. It's similar to the vibe that basically anybody that ever grows quickly on anything has. It's just always a question in the back of your mind is, my goodness, this person provides a ton of value. What is the strategy here? This is crazy. So what I want you to do is know that if your first few posts don't get a lot of engagement, it's normal. Some communities are just a little less engaged, and that's fine. Others take some time for members to warm up to you. Keith posted this, a week ago. He got 16 likes. He got 18 comments. This is actually pretty good. Granted, my community is quite engaged, and we have only 400 members. If you're in a community that has 5,000 members, you can easily get to 50, 100, 500 likes. You can grow very, very quickly indeed. What I would do is every time somebody sends you a comment or maybe asks you a question in your post, I would engage to them both publicly and privately. What that means is publicly is respond in the thread. So this is on School, and every time you get a comment to School, you can click a reply button and it'll show up publicly on the thread. If you're using Facebook or Discord or something, the actual mechanics of the reply will be different, but the idea is the same. So you want to respond publicly because that is going to both bump your post. It's going to make it seem a little bit more engaged. And then you're also going to get the positive karma of every other person seeing how you respond to this person. Then you're also going to want to do it privately as a DM, because this is going to open up the door to you being able to have a conversation with this person eventually leads to a sale opportunity. Now, your public responses shouldn't come across as salesy. You don't want to give people the impression you're doing this because you want to sell them, especially not on your first few posts. Just treat all of those as advertisements of your character. So just say something along the lines of, "Hey, thanks so much. I'm glad you found value out of this. Looking forward to hearing more about how this goes." Something along those lines. The ones that are private, you can use this template for. "Hey, first name, thanks for liking the post. You run a photography company as well? Thanks. Hi," or if they send you a comment, you could use this template. "Hi, first name. I know you commented on my post. Just wanted to follow up with more information here," and then provide them the information. Let me know if it makes sense if you have any questions. Cheers. So now you're really getting the best of both worlds. You're getting like the public engagement, you're getting the public notoriety for having a positive reputation in the group, and now you're also opening up the door to a private call or a private conversation. Remember, the goal, especially at this initial stage, is to build relationships and establish yourself as a helpful member of the community. This is very lucrative, especially now because communities are hyper popular, but not if you lose the forest for the trees. It's not going to be lucrative if you don't have the social acuity to be able to act intelligently in these situations. If you just start spamming your product, if you start saying, "Hey, does anybody want insert product name here. I'd love to work with you. It's only $5,000. Nobody's really going to want to interact with you. So just make sure you ask yourself, if I were to wander into a group of people I've never met and say exactly this verbatim, would they want to kick me out? It's a very good question to ask yourself in a community. Okay, booking calls. Eventually, one or more people are going to respond enthusiastically to this value. This will happen a lot earlier than you probably think. If they have any questions about your systems or about how this works, just say, hey, I'm down to show you on a call if you want. No strings. And then just use this as an opportunity to get to know them. I will note that your sales approach will be different here than from Upwork or cold email. So you're not really going to be using the exact same sales skeleton. You can use BS Wisp if you remember from a previous module. Although you're just going to have to treat it a little bit differently. It's more of like a friend to friend, more of like a coffee chat. But as you become a more valued member of the community, opportunities like automations will naturally open up to you, and they'll also tend to be a lot higher ticket and longer term as well. We're building multiple lead sources for a reason. Some will be much better in the short term. They're going to be direct sales like cold email and Upwork. Some are going to be a little bit better in the long term, like communities. And this is just part of our marketing mix, so don't neglect it. Now, how much time will this take me? In reality, your first post will probably take the longest to create. It can be anywhere from like 30 minutes up to maybe even an hour or two, depending on how valuable it is. Keep in mind that Keith's example here, he didn't just write the post and then put screenshots in. He actually had to create the system, right? But like your Upwork applications, all subsequent posts are going to grow easier and easier and easier as you improve your ability to both identify common problems and then also build simple automations. And if you're still with me at the end of this video, the real juice here is what I'm about to say. And it's that by creating 15 simple automations or simple solutions to problems, every time you create a community post from here on out, you are going to have another piece in your portfolio. You're going to have another example of a system that you can now confidently say, I built this system for videography companies. This videography system helps save people 2 to 3 hours per day. You can now confidently say this because you shared a resource like this with a bunch of other people. You can have more authority, you have more social proof. And really, this is similar to how every time you make an Upwork recording or an Upwork application, you improve your sales skills a little. Well, this is just another way to improve your library of sales assets, essentially, which is valuable. If these end up being complex, like if it's a complex, super valuable system, you can actually even just like use those blueprints later on as the stems of your systems that you sell to people. A lot of people are going to want exactly what it is that you posted about, right? Or they're going to ask you, hey, how can I get something similar? Well, you could literally take that same system, make a few tweaks to it, and then just sell it to people. I've done that multiple times, and so have many other people in this community. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about that, feel free to drop it in the school. But this first community post is going to be the first step to a very long and fruitful journey to you as long as you remain consistent. Best of luck. Get out there and crush it.